I think are always really excited to get these types of events started. Keegan and our vice captains put us in a position to succeed. You know, they did everything that was asked of them, and I had extreme confidence in what this team could do. And that's due to our captain. I think they did an amazing job. Keegan did an amazing job, and I mean,
Bethpage Black went from battleground to full-on circus, and somehow Scottie Scheffler found himself right in the middle of it all. Europe's victory was only half the story. The real shocker came after the trophy was raised, when golf's number one grabbed the mic and dropped a confession no one saw coming. What exactly did Scheffler admit, and why did it leave the entire golf world stunned? From the very first swing, the vibe at Bethpage Black felt less like a golf event and more like a wild college football tailgate gone too far. Friday and Saturday were loud, sure, but as Europe started pulling away, that hype turned downright toxic. Videos exploded across Instagram showing fans jeering Rory McIlroy mid-swing, booing European caddies, and chanting like it was an SEC showdown instead of the Ryder Cup. By Saturday afternoon's four-ball session, things hit a boiling point. Sky Sports cameras caught one nasty chant that went viral, making the whole scene feel hostile instead of passionate. The atmosphere clearly got inside players' heads. Europe looked distracted, the US stars looked shaken, and that fine line between home field advantage and straight-up disrespect had been completely crossed. When Team Europe lifted the trophy Sunday night, the celebration should have been pure joy, but instead it felt drenched in bad energy. American fans booed during the trophy ceremony, and what was supposed to be a proud moment on home turf ended up looking like a PR nightmare for the PGA. The Ryder Cup has always thrived on drama and intensity, but this time it spiraled into chaos without limits, and at the heart of it all stood Scottie Scheffler, the world's number one, suddenly the most unwilling star in golf's biggest circus. He was meant to be Team USA's anchor, the one to deliver dominance, but instead the story took a wild turn. Instead of owning the spotlight, Scottie Scheffler opened the Ryder Cup with 3 straight losses, a nightmare start for the world's number one. By Saturday night, the story had completely flipped. The best golfer on the planet couldn't seem to catch a break. Analysts zoomed in on his missed putts, awkward pairings, and the total lack of spark that usually defines his game. Was it the pressure, or had the chaos at Bethpage simply gone too far? When Europe sealed the win on Sunday, Scheffler didn't hide. He faced the cameras head-on. His words weren't dramatic, but they hit hard. He called it one of the lowest moments of my career. In both his post-match interview and a heartfelt Instagram post, he admitted he'd let down his teammates, his supporters, and himself. That level of honesty, rare in golf's cool, composed world, exploded across social media. No, Scheffler wasn't quitting. No, he didn't point fingers at the fans or the noise. What he gave instead was something much deeper, raw honesty. He vowed to learn, to grow, and to come back stronger. But the tone said it all. This was a man shaken to his core, for a sport built on composure and control. Seeing the number one player in the world so vulnerable left fans speechless. Was it just a bad week, or the start of something unraveling behind the calm exterior? And if Saturday's chaos wasn't enough, one shocking clip took things from bad to global news. As Rory McIlroy walked off during the 4-ball session, a beer cup flew from the crowd, splashing near his wife, Erica Stoll. The clip spread online in seconds. McIlroy stopped mid-step, turned around, and checked if she was okay. That moment shattered golf's polished image completely. This wasn't rowdy fun, it was straight-up disrespect caught in 4K. Social media exploded with outrage, captions reading disgraceful and ban these fans forever. McIlroy himself didn't hold back, calling out the toxic atmosphere and urging event security to take real action. Team Europe's captain Luke Donald didn't hold back. He went on record saying the crowd had completely crossed the line. Commentators like Tom Watson even issued public apologies, calling the behavior shameful and a dark moment for golf. By Sunday, that beer-throwing incident had become the symbol of Bethpage chaos, splashed across headlines, debated on talk shows, and sparking non-stop discussions about whether alcohol should even be allowed at tournaments. Was it just one reckless fan, or a crowd totally losing control? It almost didn't matter. The image was already burned into everyone's mind. This Ryder Cup would be remembered less for clutch putts and perfect drives and more for a drink tossed in anger. What was supposed to be an event built on respect and sportsmanship had instead become golf's most viral embarrassment. But the drama didn't stop there, not even close. Saturday afternoon brought one of the wildest scenes ever seen at a golf course. Players and caddies were jawing at each other like it was a pre-fight face-off. Bryson DeChambeau found himself toe-to-toe with Justin Rose and Tommy Fleetwood, their caddies right beside them, in a tense standoff caught perfectly on camera. It all kicked off on the 15th hole when the noise, frustration, and tension hit boiling point. DeChambeau, clearly fired up, exchanged words with Rose while Fleetwood's caddy stepped in, close enough to make it look like a full-on standoff. Fans surrounded the scene with phones out, recording every second, and within minutes the clips were everywhere online. Analysts tried to label it as competitive passion, but the footage told another story. Team USA looked like they were coming apart under the pressure, while Europe held their ground with icy calm. Even Scheffler's group wasn't spared, with reports of heated words flying near his pairing too. The Ryder Cup is supposed to be emotional, but this year it felt like emotions had turned into explosions. Sure, golf has always had its share of drama, but this Ryder Cup felt more like a full-blown soap opera with golf clubs as props. By Sunday morning, the confrontation wasn't just news, it was a meme storm. Screenshots captioned "Tell me you're American without telling me" flooded every feed, while golf Twitter roasted DeChambeau's temper like never before. In a tournament already drowning in chaos, that player-caddy standoff became Exhibit B, proof that Bethpage wasn't just out of control in the stands, but inside the ropes too. Respect to Scottie for staying real through it all, but it raised a tough question. Was this just a rough patch or the start of something bigger for golf's top star? Subscribe and drop your thoughts below. When Team Europe finally hoisted the trophy, the chaos didn't end, it grew louder. Media outlets fired off hot takes faster than the highlight reels could play. Headlines screamed about drunk fans, security lapses, and embarrassment on US soil. The Guardian blasted the behavior, while Golf 365 ran a brutal recap of the tournament's ugliest moments. Meanwhile, American sports shows debated whether crowd microphones should have been muted, turning what should have been a golf broadcast into something that sounded more like a congressional hearing. And of course, social media poured gasoline on the fire. Video threads broke down the beer toss frame by frame, memes roasted US fans, and influencers demanded lifetime bans for anyone who crossed the line. Even Ryder Cup legends like Tom Watson doubled down on their apologies, saying they were ashamed of what unfolded in their own backyard. Behind the scenes, tournament officials scrambled, promising reviews, audits, and new safety measures. The usual PR cleanup, sure, but the damage was already done. Instead of celebrating clutch putts and brilliant comebacks, the sports world was busy arguing about fan behavior, alcohol sales, and whether the Ryder Cup was morphing into something closer to a soccer-style powder keg. In the end, the story wasn't just about Europe's victory, it was about a weekend where golf's classiest event completely lost its cool. In the days that followed, the fallout hit like a tidal wave. Golf insiders, former pros, and even event sponsors started weighing in on what many were calling the Bethpage breakdown. Networks replayed the same chaotic clips on loop, the chants, the beer toss, the player arguments, turning the Ryder Cup into a case study on how passion can spiral into pure madness. Reports surfaced that the PGA was quietly reviewing alcohol limits and crowd control tactics, while whispers from behind the scenes hinted at potential bans for repeat offenders. Some even claimed law enforcement was identifying the fan behind the beer toss through facial recognition footage. The public response was split right down the middle. Some fans defended the rowdy energy, saying it showed how much Americans cared about winning on home soil. Others blasted it as the lowest point in modern golf, a sign that the sport's elegance was slipping away. And right at the center of all that noise stood Scottie Scheffler, still trying to process his worst week in years. Insiders revealed that Scheffler skipped the post-tournament team dinner, spending the evening with his close circle instead, reflecting on what went wrong and how to bounce back. His quiet absence only fueled more speculation that golf's golden boy might be cracking under the pressure. Meanwhile, Europe's camp kept things cool, maybe too cool. Luke Donald praised his players' composure, crediting their unity and discipline for holding firm amid the storm. The European team flew home to cheers and applause, while US players faced an avalanche of criticism from their own media. Headlines like "Team USA loses its grip literally" and "Bethpage breakdown when golf forgot itself" dominated the airwaves. Inside the PGA headquarters, quiet panic was setting in. Meetings were reportedly held within 48 hours of the loss, with executives demanding a full review of fan behavior, broadcast management, and even how much alcohol should be sold during play. Sponsors, too, started asking questions. Nobody wanted their brand tied to viral clips of beer flying through the air. Behind closed doors, the PGA knew it had a problem much bigger than just losing the cup. This wasn't about golf, it was about image, money, and the global reputation of the sport. As the controversy kept trending, new stories kept pouring out. A leaked clip showed Bryson DeChambeau venting in the locker room, saying he was done with circus golf, a line that instantly blew up online. Analysts debated whether the comment was taken out of context or a genuine sign of frustration. Either way, it became another headline in a week full of them. Meanwhile, European players were being hailed as heroes of composure. Rory McIlroy, once the center of the chaos, suddenly looked like the calm voice of reason, earning praise for how he handled both the beer toss incident and the pressure of the crowd. Sports psychologists even jumped into the discussion, calling Bethpage a turning point for golf culture. Some said it proved the game was evolving, moving toward louder, more energetic fan bases, while others warned that the line between entertainment and disrespect was disappearing fast. The PGA found itself in a strange position, desperate to keep the sport exciting for new audiences, yet terrified of losing the class and control that made it iconic in the first place. By the following week, the storm had spread beyond golf's borders. Talk shows, news outlets, and even celebrities weighed in on the Bethpage madness. Clips of rowdy fans were compared to football ultras, with commentators asking whether golf was abandoning its roots for social media hype. The Ryder Cup, once a symbol of sportsmanship, was now being treated like a reality show gone wrong. Through it all, Scheffler stayed mostly silent, until one quiet Sunday post broke the internet. He shared a simple message: tough week, lessons learned, time to rebuild. The post racked up millions of views within hours, with fans flooding the comments with support and critics questioning if the world's #1 could truly bounce back. What stood out most wasn't the words but the tone, calm, humble, and reflective. It was a reminder that beneath all the noise, golf still had heart. But the question lingering over everyone's mind was hard to shake. After Bethpage, could the sport ever truly feel the same again? It wasn't just about losing, it was about American fans losing control. Bethpage had turned into a real-life lesson in how raw passion can drown out the very sport it's supposed to celebrate. That became the global headline, not Europe victorious, but golf embarrassed. The Ryder Cup's proud legacy took a hit, and everyone from fans to pros was forced to face an uncomfortable truth. Something had gone seriously wrong. For Scottie Scheffler, the answer came through humility, not hype. His reflection wasn't some dramatic mic drop, it was quiet, honest, and painfully real. He called the week a failure, a lesson, and a scar he'd carry moving forward, but he also made a promise to learn, to rebuild, and to come back stronger. That one message turned into the ultimate cliffhanger for Team USA fans, because if Scheffler rises again, maybe the whole team can too. Still, the problems ran much deeper. Chemistry was off, pairings didn't click, and leadership looked shaky under pressure. Analysts are already whispering about captaincy shakeups before 2027 in Ireland, while golf media keeps hinting that a full culture reset might be the only fix. Both the PGA and DP World Tour now face the same challenge. Keep the excitement alive, but draw the line before another tournament turns into viral chaos. The stakes couldn't be clearer. Golf can chase the roar of the crowd or fight to restore its respect, but trying to balance both might just break the game. Bethpage Black gave the world passion, alright, just not the kind anyone wanted to see on the scorecard. Europe got the glory, America got the shame, but the question still hangs in the air: who really lost the Ryder Cup? The players, the fans, or the sport itself? Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments, because this story isn't over yet.